What's up, world? This is Maxwell 3000 Productions. I am Maxwell 3000. I want to welcome you to real role models in our community. I am blessed and honored to have my friend and actually one of my mentors, Tony Williams, with me today. Tony, how are you, sir?
Doing good, doing real good. Pleasure to be able to do this with you. This is going to be exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm excited about it too. And so, just to give a little background of how we know each other, so I've known Tony for about 3 years. As I said, he has been a genuine friend and a mentor to me. And I met Tony through a referral of a very close friend of the family when one of my children was interested in martial arts and said he wanted to learn karate over other martial arts options in the community. And I was sent to Tony on a reliable referral, in my opinion. And ever since then, you said, "Come on in," and you never said anything about any money, and you never sold me a program or a curriculum. You said we are a traditional Okinawan karate school, and we base our system in that. But then we're pretty open minded and we like to learn and be about fitness. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But that's how I met you. But just going into the dojo and the experience that I had and my family's had, it was more than just an extracurricular activity. And it was more than just about fitness and self defense, but it was about the community and it was about you instilling the values that was passed on to you to the next generation. And I just want to tell you, it's a big honor to have you because that you are a great karateka, a practitioner of that martial arts, but you are also a great mentor and a leader in that regard. So I really thank you for being with me, bro. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, other than outside of that, you've got a whole nother career where you are a journeyman electrician, and you serve now. You have a supervisory position with the Metro Water Department. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I've been with Metro Water since about 2009.
Okay. Um, how did you get started as an electrician?
Well, coming fresh out of high school, you really don't know what you want to do. But I leaned on a lot of advice from my dad, and he told me, you need to find a trade. And him being an industrial maintenance tech, I was interested in electrical. So, of course, dads are your heroes. So you kind of take a lot of what they say. And I was lucky enough to get in an apprenticeship program. It's called the NJATC IBEW Local 429. And they had a really good, really reputable apprenticeship program. It was 5 years at the time. I knew I wasn't really college material, or I didn't think I was. Maybe I was and just didn't realize it. But at this time, uh, went to school for 5 years, night school, worked a regular shift. And the way the apprenticeship program worked is they would provide you a job for 5 years as long as you went through their school. Then after that, you got your certification. You would still work through the hall, many jobs, and I was exposed to a lot of different jobs throughout that time. So that's where I got my start is going through the school, learning and blessed to have learned with some really good construction guys that when you think of construction, you think of harsh and uh, a little rough guys, and some of them were rough, but genuine. I was lucky enough to get through with some journeymen that really cared, and just like karate, they passed their craft on and instilled that in the people coming up. So that's where I got to start, and then I took that knowledge and applied for maintenance jobs and ended up at Bridgestone for many years. And then they had some cutbacks, and a friend of mine actually that I went through apprenticeship school with had landed a job with Metro Water, had been there for quite some time. And he said, "Hey man, I heard that you guys are laying off. You need to apply for Metro Water." So I did, and I hired in at the entry level, and took a cut actually to go there, but it was a blessing in disguise because I didn't realize uh, the way they had a path and a path to actually gain more knowledge and also learn the system and advance. So, I've been there with Metro for about 17 years and have been able to, uh, apply for. We have an industrial maintenance supervisor one, and I'm up to the two level where I don't have really anywhere else to go unless I was to take some kind of position as a manager, and that requires some college credits, or you got to have a little more uh, education for that. So, but I run about 15 or 20 guys daily, and I oversee a lot of electrical installations and maintenance and pumps and sometimes some mechanical. So that's the gist of what I do daily. I'm on call pretty much all the time, but I choose that. I choose that to be on call. But that's kind of where I got my start and where I'm at presently. Is an industrial supervisor, class two, I would say.
That's man. There's a lot of stuff in there that need to be unpacked, and obviously, like we talked before, I really want you to kind of extend this conversation with me and unpack that with me more at a later date.
Sure.
Um, but what would be your advice to a young person or maybe somebody that's in transition in their career and we're thinking about pursuing a trade or a craft? What would your advice be to them?
Um, well, I would recommend anybody that doesn't feel like they want to go to college, or anybody that really likes to see a result of things being repaired or built or fixed. Not to just choose a craft that is heavy with salary, but something they do kind of enjoy. But uh, you know, crafts are a big thing now. We there's still a lot to be built. Um, you're I wouldn't say that you would never choose to do without if you got a craft, because there's always somebody wanting something done. There's a lot of crafts out there that's, we need welders now. We need plumbers. Plumbers not a glorious job, but everybody needs a plumber, and when you need a plumber, you need a plumber. And usually it's not how much money, it's how quick can you get it fixed when you got
Yes.
sewage running out, so
Yes.
but yeah, it's do your research, find a good trade, ask a lot, ask people, that would be my recommendation, is just do your research, because there's lots of good trades in many different aspects, so
Yeah, and two things that I just kind of picked out from what you said is, be dedicated to learning the craft, educate yourself, and then also kind of those relationships and that networking and kind of those folks that mentored you and that you knew you had good rapport with, that were able to let you know about certain opportunities and stuff like that.
that's so true, Max. And what people don't understand is you're not expected to know a lot. It's more about your worth ethic, showing up to work, uh, being that responsible guy, because that's what the apprenticeship schools are. If you've got that, then they're going to be able to teach you the craft. It's just about showing up and putting in the work. And that goes it ties in so much to anything else in life. You know, it ties in so much with the martial arts of if you show up, eventually you're going to get where you need to be, you know? So,
Yeah.
and
And that's a great transition. That's exactly where I wanted to go because what I've got you here today and what I'm really honored to share with people is, to me, I met you. You are the owner and chief instructor at the Lebanon Dojo in Lebanon, Tennessee. Um, Give me the address real quick because I should know it, but I do not know the address at the top of my head.
that's okay. It's 108 Webster, right behind Kids World Daycare. Used to say right across the street from the Swifties gas station, but it's no longer there. But 1 mile from the square, heading up towards Hartsville,
Yeah,
one
north on
mile on the left.
231.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Been there for. We've been in that same building. September will make 30 years.
30
So
years.
yeah, and an interesting fact on that is everybody from Lebanon knows the Lowe's, but Bob Lowe uh, has since passed on. But he gave me the opportunity when I was a very young man. He gave me the opportunity with a handshake deal that you never hear about anymore. Uh, and he said, "Hey, if you wanna have a stab at this, make your opportunity is." And he told me the rent and said, "If you don't pay the rent, I'll put chains on the door. Simple as that." And it's been that way since 1996. A handshake deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I need to give a shout out to the Lowe family because they have truly been a blessing in my life to be able to give me the opportunity to do that. So
Yeah. And I bet that has a lot to do with your character as well. Um, Tell me, when did you get into martial arts? How old were you? What was the year? Tell me all about that.
so I guess I was around 5 years old, and I didn't start out in Ishinru. Me and you've had this conversation before, but I started out in Wataru. Some people may call it Bushido. It was Bushido School of Karate on Nolensville Road in Nashville, Tennessee. At the time, I still lived in Antioch area, Woodbine. So my dad had prior experience at the Denny Schaefer School of Nashville, and but I guess he wanted to see if he took me as sort of like layers. He took me to the Bushido School, and I think we signed up for a 6 months course, and did fine, and worked with a lot of the legends out of that group, and then Dad said, "Well, let's try, the Schaefer School or the Karate School of Nashville." So at that point, I was probably 5.5 or 6 years old when I transitioned to Ishinru, uh, and that was Phil McElroy and Roy Vaughn, a lot of the old timers. Roy has since passed on, but Phil McElroy is still got a school, and but that was where my roots started out, was the Nashville School.
And just give me a little bit of background because, earlier I said traditional Okinawan karate, and then you just said, Ishinru and Wado-Ryu, and you are now a practitioner and instructor in Ishinru karate. Just give me a very brief and basic kind of background of what that means.
Yeah, being the founders of the Nashville School were not always Ishinru. Uh, they were a bunch of just kind of, you know, uh, Master Schaefer started out in Kung Fu and then went to Wado-Ryu. And then a lot of the black belts that were Ishinru now, or are Ishinru now, had other backgrounds. But Master Harold Long from East Tennessee had spent time in the military over in Okinawa and is a first generation student of Master Shimabuku, which is our founder. So he recruited the Nashville group to become Ishinru. He actually recruited those guys. So, and there's a story within itself with how that came about. So that group transitioned over under the direction of Dennis Schaefer. They transitioned to Ishenru, and so at that point they became Ishenru. And I don't know the exact date of that, but it was before my time. My time there was always Ishenru, so we was learning Ishenru at that time.
Okay, okay. Um, obviously you started at a very young age, and you're still a practitioner. Why has that been so? How has karate been so important to you, and what impacts do you feel that they've made that's inspired you to carry this on and even to be an entrepreneur? Even though I know that you don't do what you do for money necessarily, but you do have a business and a successful business that you've been able to maintain for 30 years. What what about karate inspired you to that?
Well, I guess the me being a smaller individual, um, some of the sports that I really didn't have the opportunity. I always played football and baseball in the backyard, but never actually joined any kind of club team or was involved until I was about 11. And and that was one of the rules. And my dad's was, we're going to stick to this until we. What is your end goal? And at the time, goals always change. But at the time, I wanted to become a black belt. So uh, there wasn't. We was dedicated to karate, even 3 to 4 nights a week for a long time until I reached that goal. But him pushing me to achieve that, uh, being a smaller person, I found out that I was in control of my results versus uh, maybe a team. You know what I mean? Where a team has to work together. And I really liked that because I knew if I put in the work, I could accomplish what I needed, and really not being selfish, but I didn't have to rely on anybody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it does.
and the instructors there were you could draw so many things out of different instructors, and get a piece of every instructor in there. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but uh, it meant a lot to me, and I kind of got focused on being able to control uh, what I put into it versus a team.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, and once again, I want to talk about all this stuff more later. But let's talk about a little bit. 30 years in one location with a martial arts school. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
You see martial arts schools kind of come and go, and that's why it was kind of important for me to vet and discern who I chose to go to. Um, what sets you apart from other karate schools?
Well, for one, me being blessed with low overhead, and like I said, once again, that was from uh, the Low family giving me that opportunity. I have the ability that a commercialized school, they have they have rent to meet, uh, and when you get some high overhead cost, sometimes you're wanting to make you're wanting to be successful, but when it comes to making that rent payment, you maybe water water down. You're looking for you have to commercialize it to because you got more obligations, and we don't have that. We don't. If we have to, uh we can make our rent by our black belts pitching in if we had to. You know what I mean? So that gives me the freedom to, if somebody is not uh if it's not for them, I wholeheartedly believe that I need to be able to tell them that maybe this is not for you. Whereas the other schools might not do that, and they'll put up with a little more maybe distraction, or uh, water it down a little more to keep the flow of people coming through. You know,
Yeah.
so we've been blessed, and so far it's worked. And I really promote that when a new student's coming in and they're trying it out, that it needs to fit. They need to have that experience before, because at the end of the day, it's not for everybody, and I don't want to sell it that this is for everybody. You know as well as anybody, it takes a lot of dedication coming there 2 nights a week, and to set that aside, that's what we're doing these 2 nights a week. So but we really promote that, and being about community. It if it's about just the money, then we've lost some of what we're supposed to be giving back, you know.
Yeah, and it seems like what I've heard you say through this whole thing is how the community aspect of it has really kind of maybe been an anchor in your life, and has what's anchored the school. I mean, and for me, I know karate is something, and martial arts in general, and even sports, is something that brings people from all different backgrounds together with a shared value and a shared goal, and we're able to operate in cooperation, I guess, and there's something important about that. I mean, that's why one reason why we're here today is to highlight the community aspect of it.
Yes, sir.
Um, Man, that's awesome. I really appreciate that, and that's really cool. And there's just so much. I've got so many questions for you that I'm kind of having to hold back. Um, but tell us, what kind of classes are you offering right now, and what's the schedule?
All right. So we have regular kids, what we call kids class, and adults class on every Tuesday and Thursday. Kids class starts around 5:30. The doors are generally open right around 5 o'clock. And then we roll into adults class. It usually 6:30, 6:45. The kids are out of there, and adults are rolling in from anywhere from 7 o'clock to 8:15. Sometimes 8:30, but we try to get out of there by 8:15. And also we've got what we started, our new program is our 50s and over program that we started maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and that is just geared to giving some movement out of some older people that maybe think, I cannot do a full, uh, some of the activities we do in regular karate class. But that's kind of engineered, just get them moving, get them stretching, get them in. A lot of my students there, they run through the katas, they're learning movements, they're learning stances, they're working on their mobility. So that's worked really well. But yeah, that's pretty much our classes, is every Tuesday and Thursday, kids and adults classes, and then every Monday and Wednesday from 6 to 7 are my 50s and over class.
Nice, nice. All right, Tony, man, I really appreciate this, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is Tony Williams with the Lebanon Dojo at, what's the address again?
108 Webster Street.
108
108
Webster.
Webster. Yep.
And if somebody saw this and wanted to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
Uh, Actually, they could just reach out to uh, uh 615-476-4339. That's the number at the dojo. Or they can go to our Facebook page, The Lebanon Dojo, or Facebook page is under The Lebanon Dojo. Or they can reach out to lebanondojo.com.
And there's a cool little website that's got some more information on there too. That's a good asset. All right, bro. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to hopefully us doing this again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Max. Thanks for taking time, brother.
Yes, sir. This is Real Role Models in the Community, Maxwell 3000 Productions. I am Maxwell 3000. Peace and love.